Good evening. I have been at the office all day tuning into the House session on C-SPAN and dealing with all this stimulus craziness and dealing with getting back to my business after a little 3-day holiday vacation. It's been a chaotic day, to say the very least. I'm tired. I'm ready for bed, but there's still more to do. Anyways, on C-SPAN, they were debating for hours and hours on upping the stimulus check from $600 to $2,000, and then ultimately they voted on the bill. So here's exactly what's going on. The big government spending and stimulus bill passed in the House and the Senate last week. Now, just about everyone, including the White House administration, expected a vote from Trump right away. They were saying Trump is giving the go-ahead on this. He wanted $2,000 checks initially, but we convinced him otherwise. And he's going to just acquiesce and go ahead with this bill. Then, as we know, things changed, and he said we need $2,000 checks and we need to take out all the nonsense in the bill. And he made this like 4-minute video where he just tore the bill apart, says we shouldn't have funding to this, we shouldn't have funding to that. And most Americans agreed, like, yeah, we shouldn't have funding to all these foreign countries when our country is in need right now. We shouldn't give all this money to down tree research or the Smithsonian when all these people need money right now. So most people agreed Trump was in the right. Yeah, we should be getting $2,000 stimulus checks. We've been waiting for months and months and months. $600 is pretty laughable. Yeah, I mean, we'll take $600 over $2,000. Don't get us wrong, but $2,000 seems like a much more acceptable and a reasonable number. And so after Trump did his video tearing this apart, the House and Democrats rallied behind him, saying, yeah, we should get $2,000 stimulus checks. We agree. We think that's a good idea. We've been wanting bigger checks all along. So they went ahead and tried to get the deal done in a pro forma session last week. They wrote up the bill within like a day. They wrote up this amendment bill to up that from $600 to $2,000, and then Republicans blocked it because of the rules of a pro forma session. It wasn't just a majority to pass it. Any Republican could block the bill, and they blocked it. So today is the 28th and was the first day that the House was back in session like normal. So they went ahead and debated on this bill and then voted on it. And they just needed a majority to pass. The bill that they voted on, like I said, is an amendment to the large government spending and stimulus bill. This one of the biggest bills of all time. It comes out to like $2.3 trillion. The CARES Act was $2.4 trillion, but then it was actually more like 1.8 what was actually spent. So this comes out to one of the biggest bills of all time. A lot of ridiculous things in there. A lot of reasons to be frustrated with this bill. Way too many things packed into one bill that just kind of get away with this spending on absurd things that most of us agree there shouldn't be spending on. But that's not what this video is about. So I went and did some searching, and I wanted to see if there was anything else included in this amendment bill, but unfortunately it doesn't appear to be public. And all they talked about in the debates were specifically on upping that $600 check to $2,000 and arguing it one way or the other. So it doesn't seem like there's anything more there, but now I'm just always wary, like, okay, are they saying it's an up? You know, they're upping from $600 to $2,000, but then there's something else hidden in here that they really want. But I wasn't able to find anything as of right now. Sometimes it takes a while for those bills to actually be public. So listening to the House session on C-SPAN, nearly everyone was for the increase in check size, which isn't a huge surprise because the House is a majority of Democrats. Pretty much, I guess all Democrats wanted it that spoke, and some Republicans wanted it. Some Republicans were against it. Those arguing for the increase in stimulus check size said the same things as many Americans have been saying. Basically, $600 is ridiculous. $600 can't even cover rent for nearly anyone. They're bringing up more personal examples like this couple in Montana who, can't afford to fix their car. This couple in Wyoming who can't afford this, to try and showcase the need for much more than $600. And basically rallying behind what just about everyone is saying. $600 is ridiculous. They say the people have waited for 7 months or more like 9 months, and we need more money than 600. The least we can do is increase the check size a little bit. And then there was also people arguing that, okay, last year we voted for some huge tax cuts to serve all of us and the more wealthy people. Why don't we go ahead now and help out the people who are lower on the economic ladder the same we helped out the people who are higher on the economic ladder when things were good, which, makes total sense. Those arguing against the increased stimulus check size say their arguments basically were, we shouldn't give the payment to everyone, only those in need, which, sure, that's a valid concern, except I guess it's hard to know exactly who is in need based on what criteria. There could be someone who makes $30,000 a year who is largely supported by someone else who earns more money, or, is in some situation where things aren't so bad, where there could be someone else who's making $50,000, $60,000 a year and is in much more need. So it's really hard to say who's in need, who's not, under a certain income level. Of course, if you're making $1 million a year, you're probably not in need for a $600 check. But, $20,000 a year, $50,000 a year, it's really hard to say who needs that money. So yes, give money to people in need, but how do we do that? That's a whole other problem. Plus, economists say direct stimulus checks are one of the best ways to stimulate the economy. It's the easiest way to just get money out there. Really, the only better way is increasing food assistance, because that does go directly to those in need, but that's just for food-related costs. There's a lot of other things that cost money and people get behind on. I mean, look at rent payments right now. So millions of people are behind on rent payments. Like that representative mentioned, what about car repairs? Just things that come up. There's a lot of other things that need money right now. The other arguments that they made for the people who are against it say we need to consider inflation. There was one guy who was saying that how they measure inflation has changed several times, and really it is increasing. I haven't done a ton of research onto that. I'm just saying the general arguments. And also the argument against was we should promote growth and demand instead of just giving out money, which again sounds great, but what's the plan on how exactly we do that? I would love to see the exact plan so we can compare that to a stimulus check and then debate on that. Saying these things are great, but what's your plan? So all that in consideration, and this passed in the House, what's next? What are the odds that we actually get this $2,000 check? Well, in order to get this passed, the Senate would need to take up the bill, and this is not guaranteed. This isn't guaranteed because McConnell would need to choose to vote on the bill. The way that the Senate is set up, I'm not happy with how this works, but the Senate Majority Leader is the one who chooses whether the Senate votes on a bill or not, just like the Speaker of the House gets to decide what bills the House votes on, unless there's a discharge petition, which that's really rare. But if the Senate were to vote on it, the Senate would then need to vote yes, which again also isn't guaranteed to pass because the Senate has a majority Republicans, and Republicans are less likely to pass this through. So we don't know yet if this means $2,000 checks are coming, but we do know that you still can get 4 free stocks with Webull with a link in my description. Just have to put that out there because we only have a couple days left. We also know that the IRS is not waiting on whether $2,000 checks get passed. They are working to get those $600 checks passed as soon as possible. Those who are receiving the electronic payment can expect those $600 checks quite quickly, between a week to 2. Mnuchin is saying pretty much everyone can expect their electronic payment within 3 weeks. Those who are expecting paper checks, it might be a while. We're going to have about 1 week where the paper checks are being sent out, and then after that, under current guidance, it's not looking so great. I have an entire video on this that breaks that down further, but the way the stimulus bill is set up, all payments needed to be dispersed by the 15th of January. Otherwise, those payments will be a tax credit on a 2020 tax return, which means you wouldn't receive that stimulus payment until April or May when you receive your tax return back for 2020. Now, that's only for those who receive the paper check, and basically those who are the last to receive the paper check. So the higher income earners who receive the paper check would be the ones kind of in that criteria. The lower income earners should still be covered to get that sometime mid-January. So that's going to do it for today. If you appreciate me bringing you the latest information on all things stimulus, let me know and let the YouTube algorithm know by clicking the like button, subscribing, and sharing this video with a friend. Why not? Until next time, I would like to thank you for watching, and I hope you have a profitable day.